Hello, and welcome back to the Drive Formula podcast, where we take trust, communication, and action to accelerate your team from 0 to 60. Hopefully, you have subscribed to the podcast. If not, please take a moment now to subscribe. We are on Chapter 7 of the book Driving Engagement in our enhanced audiobook podcast. And the way it works is 1 week we read, it's the audiobook portion of one chapter. This week, as I said, is Chapter 7, and then the following week, Eric and I sit down and have a deep dive discussion into that chapter. Go through the stories a little bit more in depth, come up with other stories that may have not made it into the book, and basically talk about the principles tying them together. So you don't want to miss the next episode where we deep dive into Chapter 7. Encourage you to go out and purchase the book Driving Engagement by Eric Lichty and Marcus Williams. The book is available online at your favorite online retailer, and that way, even if you're listening in the car or while you're outside working or mowing the lawn or whatever you do when you listen to podcasts, you have a book that you can go back and refer to. You can make notes, you can highlight, and you can really dig deeper into the concepts and principles that we are teaching. So, let's get started with Chapter 7. Chapter 7, Keeping It Running. We've talked about your employees sitting in the driver's seat and the importance of putting them in the car that best matches their disposition and position. But don't forget, you are also an employee. Even if you are the founder and owner of the company, you still work for the brand. That means you are also a driver. What kind of driver are you? Do you baby your car? Do you own a monthly membership at a car wash? Maybe a car wash isn't even enough for your car and you detail it yourself every Saturday morning. Are you hard on your car, demanding it to operate at maximum performance every day? Do you accelerate fast and brake hard, weaving in and out of traffic? Maybe you own an off-road vehicle and are always trying to climb a steeper hill or larger boulder. Do you push the needles on your dashboard into the red, maxing out the RPM in controlled explosions? Now consider how you drive your team. Are you pushing your employees to max out their abilities, energy, and motivation? Or do you treat them with kid gloves, constantly worried you might offend someone if you demand too much? When your team is facing a project deadline or a sales goal, there are many ways to motivate them to reach those goals. You can work them until they drop, or you can motivate them to perform their role with pride and diligence so that every part of your machine or your car is working together. Are you willing to, quote, kill your engine to achieve success? Many leaders operate that way. They view employees as expendable parts. If one breaks down or quits, they go to HR and demand another be hired, just like going down to the local parts store to buy a new fuse or a gas cap. There is a massive cost to that way of thinking. Not only the cost of recruiting, hiring, and training, but the cost to reputation and culture. When you treat employees as expendable, they start seeing themselves as expendable. Where is the motivation to do their best work when it could still get them fired? What is the point in putting in maximum effort for a boss who does not appreciate you or see you as a valued member of the team? When you drive your team into the ground, it is not just your business that suffers. Their relationships, mental health, and physical well-being also suffer. By operating with that mindset, you are essentially destroying the vehicle just to meet a short-term goal. Unless your company is doing something so amazing that you have a line of qualified candidates banging down your door, you can't afford to create a culture of expendables. The entire point of finding the right vehicle for your employees is to maximize the execution of their own unique skill set, one that you have already decided you need in order to operate. After all, you originally hired them because of the potential you observed in their initial interviews. You did not hire a software engineer to manage your production floor, just as you didn't hire a salesperson to hide away in an office all day to write code. It is amazing how often employees are assigned to do jobs that they not only don't have any desire to do, but one for which they have no competency. When you look at your organization chart, if you see an empty position next to one that is double stuffed, That doesn't mean you take one of those, quote, extra employees and just plug them into the empty slot. You can't use an airflow sensor as a fuel sensor. As an employee, you certainly are responsible for driving your own career. You have to find the right fit and driving style for you. But you can't focus solely on yourself if you want a successful, fulfilling career. When you also think of yourself as an integral part of your leader's car, responsible for the efficient operation of your system within that car, you begin to understand the importance each person plays in your team and the importance of diagnosing and maintaining the vehicle. It is in the best interest of your career for your entire team to be successful. When you take care of your vehicle, it will last much longer. Marcus. We recently decided to purchase a newer vehicle. When we went to the dealer, they asked if we had a vehicle to trade. We replied that we did, but doubted they would be interested in the trade. When the dealer asked why, we explained that the car we were driving was originally owned by a mechanic who took exceptional care of the vehicle, and it had well over 500,000 miles on it. After overcoming the initial shock reaction, the dealer agreed that he could not accept the vehicle as a trade, but that he would love to put it on display in his dealership, just to show customers how reliable his cars were. We all had a good laugh. That vehicle didn't drive that many miles because it was a certain make or model. It drove that far because the driver followed a strict maintenance and diagnostic schedule and never allowed a small problem to become a big one. Sure, the vehicle wasn't worth anything on trade, but it more than paid the difference over the years when others were buying new cars and we didn't have to. Be self-aware. Take inventory of your leadership style and how you are driving your team. Is it sustainable? Will your team make it 500,000 miles before it has to be replaced? Or will you have to pay to replace it every other year? All right, folks, that's Chapter 7 of Driving Engagement. Again, pick up your copy wherever you buy online books, Driving Engagement by Eric Lichty and Marcus Williams. Please subscribe, click the notification button. We're available on many different sites, so find your favorite podcast or video site to watch or listen to us. We really appreciate it. Tell your friends, and we will catch you on the next episode of the Drive Formula Podcast.